My guest at this time is legendary pro wrestling journalist. You can find him now over at SportsKeita. He is the author of Is Wrestling Fixed? I Didn't Know It Was Broken. It's Bill Apter. Bill, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Nick Hausman, it's so great to be back. You know, you're an adopted nephew of mine.
I know.
I've told you that many times.
I get the invite to the family reunion. I get to come by, drink the punch. It's great.
Yeah, not just that. You come down for karaoke too.
It's true. And you know,
what's your go-to song? You know, I never asked you that.
It's great you say that or ask that because my go-to is always Bob Seger. I love the song "Turn the Page," and Cody Rhodes actually shared a lyric from that song on Monday that got everybody talking.
I heard.
And then I got to sing the song on the Wrestling Inc. Daily earlier this week as part of the news, which it brought a smile to my face.
All right, well, here's a test for you. You know, there was a song called "Everybody's Talking." What movie was it from? Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear a word they're saying. Only the echoes of their mind.
This don't is not the song I thought it was. I don't know the movie. What is this?
Midnight Cowboy, one of the classic movies of all time.
It's been a minute since I watched Midnight Cowboy.
Hey, Bill. All time.
Hey, Bill, this is neither a music or movie podcast. It's a pro wrestling podcast.
I know, but wrestlers sing.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some better than others. You're obviously top of the list. So before we get into the stuff I want to ask you about, we bring you by here today. You were over at SportsKeita right now, which is awesome. So happy to hear they're taking care of you and that you're contributing there. The big news they've got going right now, their 2021 year-end awards. Tell me.
Yeah. And you know, I'm now the senior consultant editor of SportsKeita. I'm still maintaining my day gig where I help people with disabilities find competitive employment for a company called Altech and Access Services in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, and Hatfield, Pennsylvania, all over the state. But what I want to do, I want to take Nick Hausman, the reporter, and I want to divorce him from the reporter. Okay. I want Nick Hausman, the wrestling fan.
Okay.
What I want to do right now for the next, and I believe we're airing before Monday Night Raw. Correct?
Yes, correct.
So there's a few days more where people can go to SportsKeita Wrestling Awards and vote for so many categories and so many wrestlers. Not just you voting, but you're also. We've created an expert panel of people like Eric Bischoff, RVD, DDP, Booker T. A lot of people without it, Conrad Thompson, the Podmaster, and so many others there. So when you vote, we're going to be comparing your votes with theirs. But I thought Nick Hausman, the fan, might be interesting for me to take. I'm looking down at the Apter Chat phone, by the way, for me to take some of the top categories here and ask Nick Hausman, the fan, who he might vote for and a real shorthand reason of why he might vote for them. Are you ready, sir?
Game on. Let's do this. Sure.
All right. We're going to start off with the male wrestler of the year, and the top candidates are the head of the table, Roman Reigns, Big E, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and Kenny Omega. Who would you choose and why?
For me, it's Bryan Danielson.
Why?
I just think he's the best wrestler on the planet. I think he is got every light bulb over his head going off. I don't think anybody is more believable, more compelling, is telling as intricate stories. I love Roman Reigns. Hard to argue that he hasn't moved a lot of T-shirts, but I'm bored. And I guess maybe if I was just considering it by 2021, could be. But as where I sit in the moment, I mean, and even back in 2021. Bryan Danielson is the most enjoyable person for me, maybe other than Sami Zayn to watch on TV.
Okay. All right. So you've now lost your seating at the Roman Reigns banquet. You are no longer near him at the head of the table. Okay. Sorry about that. Female wrestler of the year. Let's look at the candidates. Becky Lynch, the man. Sasha Banks. Bianca Belair, and that great head of hair. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Mickie James.
Man, my pick isn't on that list. I would have gone with Charlotte Flair.
Well, I know, I said the same thing because we have the man and we would have had the daughter of the man there, but Charlotte Flair is not on the list.
That is unfortunate. My vote goes to. Can I do a write-in?
You can.
Okay.
You can.
I'm going to write in for Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair brings a unpredictability to the women's division that you don't get with any other wrestler. Everybody else is showing up and doing their job and doing it to the best of their abilities, and sometimes very, very well. But you can tell there's some big energy going on with Charlotte, where when she shows up, it's because she wants to be doing something, and if she doesn't like what she's doing, you know about it. And for that reason, has driven an exorbitant amount of traffic, especially in 2021. I think I think she flew under the radar just because people are just so used to Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, probably.
They don't realize how good she is at the moment.
She certainly is. Again, we're not going to go through all the categories because I'm just going to pick a few of them. Let's look at match of the year.
Okay.
2021. All right. Hangman Adam Page against Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
Becky Lynch, the man versus the man's daughter, Charlotte Flair. The Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. Walter versus Dragunov, which was that chop fest.
Right.
Or Shida versus Deeb.
I got to double check when mine happened here real quick. Let me see. I want to double check because I think I have a good answer here, but it was at the end of last year, I think, and I don't want to. I want to make sure I didn't. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah. All right, yeah. This was 2021. This was
go for it.
And it may be controversial because it happened at one of the Saudi shows. This was at Crown Jewel. I thought the Edge Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell match from Crown Jewel was just captivating. I was so hooked on it, and Edge always over delivers, and I think he's going to over deliver at WrestleMania with AJ Styles, and it's because of matches like we saw at Crown Jewel that I think so.
Okay,
another write-in.
Totally agree. It was incredible. Okay, now this one is too obvious. The comeback of the year, we've got CM Punk, Becky Lynch, Brock Lesnar, Christian Cage, or W. Morrissey.
Okay. Well, Punk, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't, but I mean, write in, and I agree with Renee Paquette because she weighed in on this. I saw with you guys as well.
Go ahead.
Christian Cage.
Yeah.
Another guy we never thought we were going to see in a wrestling ring again.
That is true.
He not only came back, he got to work in the Royal Rumble for WWE, reunite with Edge, leave, sign with the rival company, get to make a splash, put on that. Look, the program with Kenny was not great, but the match over-delivered, in my opinion. And now he's in this role right now where he's on TV every week. He's wrestling, maybe not as much as he would like, right? But I mean,
but he's there.
I mean, he did a lot in his comeback year. A lot. He did a lot. I'll put it that way.
All right. So that is your pick. Let's go for best promo skills. Two more categories here. Of course, Michael J. Friedman, Maxwell Friedman. I'm sorry. MJF. See, what can I tell you? Did I say Michael? I did. Maxwell.
You did. You meant to say Michael J. Fox, but then you twisted.
I did, correct, but he's retired from wrestling.
That's good.
So MJF, CM Punk, Paul Heyman, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, or Edge. Now, we cannot count Edge's incredible interview from last Monday night's Raw, which was unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I think I give it a tie. Well, again, like the Punk MJF stuff, I don't know that it even was in 2021. I don't think it had started.
Well, no, we're talking about best promo skills, individual. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna. I mean, MJF is obviously everybody's favorite right now. MJF tells wonderful stories. I have no doubt about that. I really am partial to Edge. I think Punk's getting back to where he was. He wasn't quite there in 2021. I'm going to give it to, you know what? Honestly, no. I'm going to give it back to Bryan. I love Danielson's promos. He's the best one to watch. Everything that guy says is incredible.
So you kind of shoving Paul Heyman to the side?
I love Paul, and maybe I'm Charlotte Flairing him, where I'm just so used to Paul that I'm like
Okay.
looking past him. But for me, like I don't know that. I look at Brian, I look at Sami Zayn. I think Kevin Owens has really. It's weird. It's like those Ring of Honor 2008 guys are doing the best promos of their lives right now.
Yeah. So the last week, by the way, and I mentioned this, and that's the end of what we're going. Thank you very much for you. Can we bring Nick Hausman, the reporter, journalist, back in? Hey, Nick, you missed a great segment just now. But want to thank all of you, and don't forget you can go to SportsKeita.com, and as soon as the page comes up, you'll see graphics where to click for how to keep voting. But the votes are only going on for another few days. You can win prizes as well. So you need a SportsKeita. Tell them wonderful Willie Bill Apter sent you.
All right. Well, I enjoyed that. Thank you, Bill. And
well, thank you for letting me hijack the show for a little while.
That's okay. I'll let you do whatever you want, honestly.
Nick, before we forget,
yeah,
August, Albany, New York.
The International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Yeah, I was there handling Tony Clifton once again.
You were there last year at that magnificent banquet.
Yep.
I know you were there. People saw you and you made a lot of friends and got a lot of interviews. And that Tony Clifton guy was there. And
I was told I went up to his room to bring him down and he wasn't there. And I was talking to the police. Then they told me, well, he actually was at the banquet. He made a huge scene. He got kicked out.
Yep.
And I had to apologize to all these people. I had to get Tony on a flight. Yeah, I screwed the pooch that weekend. I don't like that, that turn of phrase, but that's what
I just want to tell people that it's JJ Dillon and I are going to be hosting the event again this year, the banquet.
Wonderful.
And they've got a new, it's going to be in the same place from what I understand, but there's a huge announcement of the arena up there is going to be giving space. They've signed papers, space for the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Go to the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.com and check out all the news, and hopefully you'll come this year and you will not bring him.
We can find out. You have my info, you have Tony's info. We'll see what we can figure out. But Bill, while I have you here, you asked me a couple questions, a couple things I want to get your take on here.
Sure.
First and foremost, we're recording here on Thursday. I know this is going to run Monday, but the news is still fresh. Tony Khan has bought Ring of Honor. What's your reaction here to this turn of events? For those that cannot see in podcast form, Bill has changed hats from his SportsKeita hat to his Ring of Honor hat.
So you want to know what I think of it. I think it's great. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I had a feeling a few weeks ago, and I said this to many people. I had a feeling a few weeks ago when Jay Lethal showed up in AEW. I said, just weird just to have him in there, just kind of, I don't know why. Maybe they're going to bring in some other Ring of Honor guys. And then I said to a few friends, I said, wouldn't it be funny if AEW brought Ring of Honor in for like an invasion angle or something? Because there's been so much news about Ring of Honor recently with them possibly relaunching in April. And so I have several things that I think are going to happen there. I think this is nothing I know. Let me get rid of the hat here. It's nothing I know, but I do think that one of the people that Tony Khan is very interested in, and he was Ring of Honor for such a long time, is Cesaro.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be. Now, the other chatter going around.
Oh boy, here we go.
And I know you've heard it.
Here we go.
Is the rumor, the rumor, and I've tried to track this down. I can't get any answers yet. I got my people out there, is that Cody Rhodes, that this whole thing was planned to make this into a separate company, and Cody Rhodes will be, now, as you know, his last real independent appearance at Ring of Honor was in Philadelphia along with the Young Bucks, and I was there. For that. Cody even said, do you want to come into the ring and do a promo with us? And I said, no, I don't want to get in trouble. So I don't know. I just, it's all the rumors, of course, that everyone in the WWE dressing room is all excited that Cody's going to be coming in and this and that. But can you imagine the swerve that this would be at this point?
I mean, Bill, do you really think that that's going to happen? Do you think there's a chance that Cody Rhodes comes back at the ECW arena and leads some kind of ROH charge against Tony Khan? Do you really believe that, Bill? Do you think that's a possible thing?
You know, the cliche of all time is now going to come out of my mouth.
Oh, boy.
Never say never. I've seen things
so difficult to believe, Bill.
I know, but it was so difficult to believe that Hulk Hogan would turn his back on all the Hulkamaniacs, brother.
I don't know. It just feels different to me. I mean,
it does.
Do you think that Cody, I mean, as much of a chance, do you think there's a higher probability Cody winds up back in WWE?
At this point, yeah.
Yeah. What do you do with him then? Like, how do you reintroduce a Cody to the WWE universe? What do you do? What's your story there?
Well, the fans, obviously, even though AEW fans, a lot of them say they don't watch WWE, they do. And I see Cody coming out as I thought when AJ Styles came out last week, I thought that was going to be Cody Rhodes, by the way. Yeah, I did. And so you could feel that people were thinking that too. Yeah, you knew people were anticipating that. All they have to do is, ladies and gentlemen, the American Nightmare, and he's already made his reputation. He's been all over social media for 3 years. And in the recent year, when he's become the American Nightmare and all this, everybody knows who he is. And this WWE could do the whole thing if Vince were in the broadcast position. Oh my God, what is he doing? Get him security. It'd be a great angle.
Well, did you catch? I mean, I know you've been working all day, so I'm guessing you didn't have a chance to watch the Pat McAfee Vince McMahon interview yet. But Vince,
is today. That was started today, correct?
It is done and over. You can go watch it on YouTube right now.
How long is it?
It's about 45 minutes, an hour.
Okay, no spoilers. I will be watching it late tonight. Was it great?
It's that you will have never seen a Vince McMahon interview like this.
Oh,
at least not on the record.
Okay.
So very interesting. But anyway, the top line thing here, and I guess it's a huge spoiler because probably on every news site right now. But Pat McAfee's going to have a match at WrestleMania, and it doesn't look to be with Vince. It looks like Vince is going to go find somebody that is suitable competition to go up against Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. And let your speculation run wild then.
So, well, as you know, Shane McMahon is looking for a match.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So let's pivot here to some Shane talk. Well, before you get to the idea of Shane possibly being Vince's opponent here for McAfee.
Not Vince's. Oh, right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Shane being, McAfee's opponent. Like you've known the McMahons. You were better friends with Vince's dad than Vince. Like, what was your reaction to the news that Shane seemingly exited the company when he did, Bill?
Families might love each other very much, but when it comes to business, business is business.
Yeah.
And not all families can get along in their business.
So, do you find it feasible that Shane could look elsewhere? I mean, I'm not saying necessarily.
No. I find it interesting that Shane could be the opponent for Pat McAfee because people like to see him in the ring. They really do. So, Shane going to another wrestling company. So, of course, the big thing here is because no one has heard from Triple H. He had this heart event, this cardiac event, allegedly. So the big rumor that I had heard, of course, was that Tony Khan would love to get Triple H and Shane McMahon over on his.
You think?
No, it will never happen. Of course not.
Okay, I was about to say. I don't know who your sources are. I mean,
no, they're not sources. They're fans talking.
Okay, got it. I mean, it would be interesting, but it's already like, I don't know. We've already kind of seen the pickups from WWE over there. I mean, Shane and Hunter would be really big, but Adam Cole's there, Keith Lee's there.
It's not gonna happen. Of course not. But I think as far as WrestleMania is, unless you ready for this?
Okay.
What if it's Stone Cold against Pat McAfee?
Yeah, Stone Cold Pat McAfee, but that would really kind of negate all the work that Kevin Owens has been doing at this point. Like, it doesn't make sense for him to be doing all the anti-Texas stuff if he's just going to wind up not wrestling or getting a stunner from Steve Austin at WrestleMania, you know?
No, but it could be not Austin. Who it could be JBL.
Great, sure. With
Yeah.
Steve coming back, though, like, does Steve Austin coming back entice you? I mean, there's been people saying, you know, if this guy comes back and he looks like he's in good shape, why does it have to end at WrestleMania? Why can't we get one last little Steve Austin run, maybe string together a little Goldberg type deal?
I don't know if Steve Austin wants to put his body through this again, but there are ways, of course, to protect himself, and short matches, a couple of punches, a low kick, a stunner, and it's all over. So maybe, we never really. oh my God! Now you got me thinking. Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah,
Austin.
that was the
The
match.
Battle of the Shining Heads.
Well, that was the match everybody was clamoring for at the height of the Attitude Era, right? That was WCW's biggest guy. Steve
But
Austin.
after Goldberg's last showing in Saudi Arabia, I think most fans want him to just hang it up and let's remember, the good days of Goldberg.
Do you think that would you like to see that? Do you think that Goldberg has done enough for the business?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to last.
But
Okay.
if it's Stone Cold against Goldberg for nostalgia's sake, what the heck? Why not?
All right. Lastly, here, I just got, because we're both Andy Kaufman people. You actually knew Andy
Kaufman.
Kaufman.
I'm a New Yorker.
Andy Kaufman.
Thank you very much.
I've been talking about how this Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn feud feels like Andy Kaufman fighting himself. What do you think of this program here with Johnny and Sami Zayn?
It's entertaining. It's nowhere near on the level that Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler was.
I'm not saying Andy Kaufman versus Jerry Lawler. I'm saying Andy Kaufman versus Andy Kaufman, because it reminds me of like Hollywood version of Andy trying to fight like wrestling version of Andy. It's a very interesting dynamic here. Watching those two.
I'm not seeing a great vibe in that.
Not seeing it.
I'm not the way you're seeing it.
Oh man, I love Sami Zayn, dude. Somebody pointed out.
Oh, I do too. I think Sami Zayn's great and all that, but I don't know. I'm just not. And I think that thing that they did outside of the movie premiere was fabulous. It was. It almost looked like it was real.
Yeah.
A shoot, gang. But no, I mean, it's okay. It's nothing that I'm thrilled about. But I think so. I'm going to break something to you that I mentioned on someone else's podcast years ago.
Okay.
I talked to Sammy backstage, and I love him. He's such a wonderful guy. And I said, they should turn you bad guy and call you Sami Insane. And he said, yeah, that's pretty cool. And look at this. Wow. There it is.
Well, Bill, I want to thank you so much for time here. It's always great talking with you.
Thank you so very much.
Anything you want to put over here?
Yeah, I need to ask you a question.
Oh, okay.
Is wrestling fixed?
Well, I didn't know it was broken.
That's the title of my book, still on sale at Amazon and your favorite bookstores. And you can follow me, as it says right below my International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame sweatshirt, at Apter One Wrestling. And please, you need a SportsKeita. Go to SportsKeita. Oh, you have one too?
I have Bill's book here on screen if you're watching this in video form.
This is amazing. I have one too.
Oh, look, we got 2 books.
Unbelievable. We have 2 books. And hopefully now that the COVID numbers are going down, I'll be able to get back in the swing of going to some of the. Oh yeah, that's me and Luthez.
Look at that.
Yeah, I miss him.
Young Bill Apter there.
I miss him very. Which one is me? All right. But yeah, thank you, Nick. I always enjoy being on your shows, and thank you for being so welcoming to. Do you know what SportsKeita means?
SportsKeita? What does it mean? I don't know.
Okay, so I was educated, and a few other people from podcasts did not know what they were. Keita is like a worm. So if you're a bookworm in India, you're a bookkeeta. SportsKeita is you're a sports worm.
Is that a real thing?
It is, yeah.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
So that's what SportsKeita means. Wonderful Willie is educating the world on the benefits of SportsKeita, but you know how much I love Wrestling Inc. and go a long way back. So thank you for having me on.
Are you going to be at WrestleMania?
No, not traveling yet.
Okay. Well, hey, when you do, Bill, I'll see you at the matches.
Eventually.
Thank you, Bill.